Hey family, thank you for hopping on Wealth Builders. Listen, today we're talking about money, we're talking about budgets, we're talking about how to have a good life in the middle of a struggling economy. How can we start putting our money away so that when the economy does get better, we didn't really suffer too much. And if you didn't know, the Great Depression and the Harlem Renaissance were happening at the same time. So we're going to figure out how we can build that for ourselves to still have a Harlem Renaissance in the middle of a Great Depression, which is our economy. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and share this with someone who might need to hear it, because even if it's not your situation, it could be a situation of your family or friends, okay? All right, I'll see you over there. All right, let's talk about monies. Let's talk about wealth. Let's talk about our wealth mindset. All right, so we are in the midst of just a hard time with the economy. Of course, I know I say this a million times. I hate it that it's still a thing. However, we haven't seen too many price drops in certain areas. So there's a potential we could be kind of going through this patch for a long time. And I want to talk to you guys about something that I came across that I thought was very interesting. Okay, so do you guys know when the Great Depression was happening, the Harlem Renaissance was also happening at the same time? Now, you may not know too much about the Harlem Renaissance, but it was like the epitome of Black culture when we were phenomenal at arts, music. If you look at some of the pictures, clearly they were still doing pretty well as far as how well we could be doing at that point in time, coming off of, our past of slavery, so being suppressed, as far as how far we could grow financially and things like that. We still found a way. We always find a way. Okay, so let's just be clear about that. We always make a way out of nowhere. And I just want to note that while the world and the economy was shooting bad, right, financially, a lot of times Black people didn't endure some of those struggles because we weren't allowed in certain spaces. And this is getting ready to be a word. Because you're getting denied doesn't always mean that that is bad for you. Okay, we don't always get what we want, and we always want to be treated fairly in life, and this is for any race, right? And sometimes being denied things actually becomes a blessing for you on the back end, right? So because Black people weren't really allowed to put their money in banks, they were able to hold on to a lot more of their money. And you can research this yourself, but come to find out, I guess that's how Cadillac became so popular, because Black people were the only ones that can kind of buy them at that point in time, because they were the only ones that had kind of cash, right? And so denial is not always bad. Not being in certain spaces is not always bad. And God has a perfect time and a true timing for us in our lives, right? So no, we weren't always being treated fair. However, it didn't always work against us. Okay. So with that being said, I'm not saying that just because the Harlem Renaissance was going on that they weren't having hard times and they weren't struggling. Clearly, everybody wasn't a part of the Harlem Renaissance or in New York at the time, taking advantage of those things. There were people still in the South very much still struggling, very much still working hard. And I'm talking about all races or whatever. But I just wanted to point that out, like, the stock and all that stuff is in New York, but in the same breath, Manhattan, and then in the same breath, Harlem Renaissance is right there thriving. So two things can definitely coexist at the same time, that feels good and that feels bad. And that's why I always say our wealth mindset is more than just about money, right? If you make money the center of your life, you are definitely going to experience a lot of bads, because a lot of bad things often come with money. I mean, if I'm just being honest, meaning money is not a bad thing itself. It's kind of how people decide to handle it, how people decide to perceive people with money, or how people with money are actually treating people, right? You're either a good person oftentimes, or you can be a bad person, because some people let money give them power, right? And you have to be bigger than the program when it comes to money, right? You have to have some other things in life that you care more about than just money. Now, let's be clear. To some degree, we want the money to be able to live the life that we want to live right now and down the road in retirement. I talk about that all the time. But what I'm saying is that's just to get us going, to get us through. It can't be the center of your life. Now, with that being said, in order to make sure we have the money to get us through, we have to be conscious of what is happening in the economy, which is why I always talk about, oh, it's not doing that great. It's not to be negative. It's the reality of what we're dealing with. And we've been dealing with it for a while. Like, pandemic really set the precedent, and we thought things were going to get better through our government, and it's it just keeps being all over the place. But it will balance back out. It always does. It will balance back out. And even if the economy decides not to balance back out, we're going to balance back out because we're being smarter with what we're doing and we're paying more attention. So what I would want for us is that we have a Harlem Renaissance in the middle of the Great Depression right now, right? And so that we can prepare ourselves for that, because I tell you, what you're doing in this current 6 months is going to directly affect you 6 months from now, right? And we don't want to be in the next 6 months feeling like we're struggling. So one of the things that we do have to, like, just go ahead and be honest with is what's in our bank accounts. Y'all keep avoiding them. I check my bank account all the time. And that's just to make sure that what's being drafted is what's being drafted, or if somebody has done something wrong at their job and taken more money out than they need to or whatever. And also, I just want to know what's going on. And a lot of people avoid their bank accounts because they feel like, I don't have a lot of money. I don't want to keep basically knowing that I don't have a lot of money in there. I will tell you, what you do with a little bit will be telling on what you will be doing with a lot. So not having a lot of money is actually a blessing, because if you're making a way out of this money, imagine what you can do when you do get a lot of money. And one way to know that, is a strong indicator of that, is like where you're putting your money at while you don't have much of it, right? The smart thing to do would be putting it in accounts that are going to grow your money. Now, we talk about the high yield savings accounts, and those are great accounts, right? Because at least it's growing some compound interest while your money's sitting there. So people like money markets and stuff like that, money market accounts. However, hopefully I can find it. I had a screenshot from like a bank. It was a I'll see if I can find it and post it and show you the interest rates for any account that you would get with them. And they were all like maybe 3 to 4%. That's a great, gain on money that's just going to be sitting in the bank anyways. But if you really look at that, most of you guys just have your money sitting in regular checking or savings accounts. And a lot of those are not even at 2% of growth. And then a lot of banks also still charge fees and stuff like that. You'll see $1 coming out randomly, or you see $8, and it's like, where did that money go? You need to just start looking at what is actually coming out of your accounts. Next, I would say the place that I'm encouraging you guys to put some of your money would be in life insurance product or life insurance backed product. And the particular accounts I'm talking about is the Index Universal Life Insurance Policy. Those compound the growth on the cash side before it pays into your life insurance part. And you know how I feel. Everybody needs life insurance, regardless of whether you have children or don't have children. So if you're going to get the life insurance, you might as well get one. It has to be properly structured. We specialize in these policies. I do life insurance and retirement, and also properly funded. So we can get with you to see what that would look like for you and your budget, or at least we can get you going with some type of life insurance until you can properly fund the IUL. But at least you know now an Index Universal Life Insurance policy does in fact exist. There are some policies that are compounding over 9% of interest. That is a lot different from 2% with your bank, okay? Not saying that's what yours would do, but we would have to hop on a call so that you can find out what it would do, okay? The other one is the FIA. That is a fixed indexed annuity. That is not a life insurance product, but it is backed by a life insurance company, and that also compounds your interest. It is like a retirement account. So yes, 59.5 rule and stuff like that still applies. However, you can have multiple retirement accounts. You can have one with your job, and you can own your own, which you should do. Or either you could just own your own and not even mess with your job. That's completely up to you, but these are just two accounts that are backed by life insurance that you will not take a market loss, but your money will grow with some compound interest that's more than likely going to be higher than what a bank would give you. And these are accounts or products that you can utilize even if you're not making a ridiculous amount of money right now. So then you're getting that growth along the way. And when you start making that good money, you'll already have the accounts in place that you can start max funding them and then have that growth on top of what you already have in there. there and then not take market loss. So that would be my suggestion when we're talking about, hey, I'm trying to figure this out so that I can have an immense amount of wealth and feel like my money is growing and that my money is protected, even if I don't feel like I have a huge amount of money. So this is us creating our Harlem Renaissance right in the middle of the Great Depression, which is our economy. Okay, so if you want to know more about that, the links definitely will be below so that you can click and get an appointment so you can just see what that would look like for you. Okay, and also want some more information about the Index Universal Life Insurance Policy or Fixed Index Annuity, those links will help you. So one good thing about taking this route is you then feel responsible. You then feel like, hey, I got something going for myself that's going to benefit me down the road, right now and down the road, because life insurance just makes you feel so like adult, like I got it figured out, I got something in place, where if something were to happen to me, my family wouldn't be struggling. Not because I existed. Like, I'm existing in this world. What is my contribution back as an adult is to make sure that you're taken care of and that you can then take care of the people around you that are like your children, nieces or nephews, if you choose to, right? You will definitely have a beneficiary. So that would be a great way, in my opinion, to start feeling like, hey, I'm trying to get a handle on what I currently have. Now, in the process of that, a lot of people don't look at their bills monthly. Like, you just like, I know it's just going to come out. I'm going to tell you right now, if you have a checking account and you are paying bills and using it for like your regular spending out of one account, you really need to structure that a little bit better, because that's why you don't want to look at your bank account. I'm just be honest. That's probably one of the reasons why you don't want to look at it, is because you just got money coming in, going out. And I call that the hamster wheel of money. You got money coming in, you got money immediately going out, right? You need to write down your bills monthly. You need to track what actually should be getting paid so you can monitor it better, because I have literally done this. I do this every month, and I have seen almost every month where something's just seeming a little off, and it might be a subscription that I forgot to cancel. I know companies are just getting wealthy off of people forgetting to cancel subscriptions that they no longer use and stuff like that. And I don't care if it's only a couple dollars. That couple dollars counts, right? And so in order for you to know that, I would say first start looking through your subscriptions and see, do you even need half of what you have? Having all these subscriptions, like, ultimately, and you're not really watching the show, you're wasting so much money a month. And when you add that up for a year, even if it pans out to be $200, you could have had that money sitting in an account that grows interest. So go back and look through your subscriptions, start there. Then start writing down your bills monthly and then checking your bank account to see when they're coming out and that they're withdrawing. After those bills are gone, that's really what you have left for your spending. So if you choose to keep that all in one account, that's fine. However, I separate mine because I like to know that those bills are getting paid and that my spending money is just, it's okay for me to use. And I will give you another pointer that someone gave to me when I was processing through how I wanted to go about mine. You have to put everything in that bill side that you do monthly, even if it's like your hair and your fingernails. And once you really process all that through, you'll see what's really left for you to spend on other things. And honestly, that number probably won't look super huge, but remember, you have already calculated all of your monthly expenditures down to, if you already know how much you spend on grocery, you can already have that factored in. Like I said, your hair, nails, lashes. I'm sorry, I'm not just talking to women. So men, if you get your hair cut, if you get your nails done or groomed or what have you, if you know you're going to buy a pair of Jordans every month, like that should just already be on the side with the bills, because that's something you're going to do every month regardless. Your subscriptions should be on the side with the bills. And once you calculate all that, whatever is left is literally like almost your emergency fund, because everything else should be covered, right? And so whatever your emergency fund, you can then decide, am I putting this in that high yield savings account with my bank, or am I just going to overpay into my Index Universal Life Insurance Policy or my retirement account? It sounds super simple, but dealing with money and processing money during the Great Depression of our economy is just not always a happy thing to do, but it's a necessary thing to do. And I'm telling you guys that both can exist, where the economy is bad, but your money doesn't have to suffer as much. because you now kind of have some type of game plan as to how to get it figured out. You just got to back into it. And there are always going to be people that's going to say, I need every dime. Right. You do need every dime. Every dime should count. Everything that you're doing should count. And so if you're feeling like there's just nothing left over for you to do any nice things for yourself, you need a business. Or you need a part-time job. It's really that simple. And I get it. If you already have a part-time job and you feeling like you're still in that space, then you really need to analyze, is that the best part-time job for you? Because you literally can go start a business and probably make more money doing it. And I understand that's not easy for everyone. And if you're interested in knowing how to start a business where you're licensed in life insurance, I can also help you guys with that. And that also creates passive income, not just the income you're earning, but passive income that will continue to pay you out. And I want to help you guys in that space too, because I get it. I have been there. I've worked multiple jobs at a time. I had came from that hustle mentality and realized that I was just supplementing my income. I wasn't really building and growing like what I needed to build and grow for me to feel like I was in a better position in my latter years of life. And so you don't want to just supplement income. You want to build wealth. You want to have that lifestyle that you really want. And if you want to do it that way, you need to probably start a business and in something that has a license. And once again, I can help you guys in that space. And also the link will be down below as well, or you can comment license, and I will definitely make sure you get that. So far what we processed is we can have a Great Depression and Harlem Renaissance happening at the same time, right? We can do well even in the midst of the struggle. And imagine when the economy changes and your money is sitting there and you have done well with your money. It's chef's kiss because you know that you had a plan and you did it right. We know plans always change. That's why I'm not telling you not to have a bank account. You should definitely have the emergency funds, but I'm telling you, in order to grow your money, it needs to be in places that will also protect your money while it's growing. And that's what life insurance can do for you. We also talked about, hey, some ways to go through your budget, which is like, hey, write everything down that you know you're going to do monthly. That is your bills, lashes, fingernails, haircuts, trims, sneakers, heels, whatever you know you're going to buy monthly, it needs to go down with the bills, as well as look through those subscriptions, cancel what you really don't use. Okay, whatever's left, that is your spending money, but you really shouldn't have too much left to buy because you put the things that you really want monthly into your bill portion, right? And then you just think about what you want to do with your overage, whether you're putting that in your emergency fund at the bank or if you're putting it into your life insurance. It's really that simple, but you should keep a running journal or diary of your budget and see how much is changing monthly and see how much you're actually growing on what's left over versus bills when you start eliminating things that you really don't need. And that is kind of a great way to kind of dig yourself out of debt as well and start running from the bank account. We have to check the bank account. All right, y'all, thank you for making it to the end. Now, of course, I'm going to give you a free quote so that you can really see what an Index Universal Life Insurance policy would look like for you, as well as if you want to know a little bit more about those retirement accounts with the fixed index annuities, because you can start those with as little as $100 a month, or you can start it by rolling over an old 401k from a previous job. If you're no longer working there anymore, that is a great way to own your own retirement and to grow it under the life insurance umbrella, okay? Now, I'm going to give you a free quote and you'll see the scanner bar here, or either you'll see the link down below, or you can always comment link if you're interested in finding out how to start your business in financial services with a license in life insurance and annuity. I got you guys, and it would be awesome to have you guys as a teammate, right? And build alongside of you. And once again, this might not be for you. The topic we're talking about might not be your issue, but it might be a friend or a family member that needs to hear this. So always remember to share this information with them, because we want them to be a part of our family as well. We're trying to skip the line here, and we're going to give each other information that we know in the comments and in our community tab here on YouTube. So listen, don't keep this knowledge to yourself. Share it with a friend or family. Comment down below, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, okay? Thanks, y'all. Thanks for hopping on, family.